Not great for the Giants fans when you have Washington, Philadelphia, and the NFC Championship. That's a tough one to root for one of the teams, but easy to root for Saquon just because of the person that he is.
You know where I want to start at, right here in New York, where your Giants are facing a massive draft coming up that really has a potential to shape their future. And it sort of feels like the Giants' fate is kind of in the hands of the two teams drafting before them. So I want to ask you here, mock draft the first three picks. So Titans first, Browns, and then the Giants. How do you see those picks going down?
Ooh, that's a tough call, and it's tough. It's tough to make that call in January. I feel like the season's just ending. My focus has been on these playoffs, watching these games, and I think after the playoffs, I kind of go back into the college and some of these workouts. I do like going back and I've seen all these quarterbacks play. I've seen Cam Ward, I've seen Shadir, I've seen them all play games, but I haven't watched a whole lot of film on them. And I do like going back and watching a game, seeing from the end zone angle where you can really tell, hey, are these guys getting the ball out on time? They all have the ability to scramble. That ability to scramble gets more difficult in the NFL, and they're all both these all these quarterbacks are great athletes. They can move around, but you still got to be able to make sure you're looking in at the right place based off what your play is, what the coverage is. Are you getting it out on time? Are you throwing it before receivers are getting out of their breaks? So I like to look at all those things a little bit to see, if their game will translate well to the NFL. And you see it this year with some of these young quarterbacks and Bo Nix, obviously Jaden Daniels, what he's doing right now during the playoffs. They have the ability to come in right away and make a difference. And so it's gonna be, like you said, it's gonna be a big draft for a lot of these teams, but a big draft for the Giants as well. And it'll be interesting how it's all going to play out. I think it's too early right now to make those predictions.
Right, fair enough. Let's do say the Giants, they don't get a quarterback. They get Travis Hunter instead, which seems freaking amazing. What then? Do you think they go out and, find a bridge guy to hold down the QB position until next year's draft? Or, you know them better than we do. What do you see
Well,
going
yeah, I
on?
mean, I think obviously adding another skill position to go with Neighbors, to have that, that 1-2 punch on the outside and have another explosive guy. And you kind of see that now in the NFL that, a lot of these teams, they don't just have, one receiver. You got to have multiple, and that you can go different ways. It's a lot easier to take away one guy. If they have one guy, we have to take away him, and then you just limit yourself to other guys making plays and another receiver that gets one-on-one that can still hit that 60-yard touchdown, hit those explosive plays. So that's when you put a lot of pressure on the defense, where they got to keep changing things up. They got to you can't just play one coverage and say we're taking away this guy. This guy's single. Offenses are too good to exploit that. So you gotta mix things up. So but like I said, the Giants need to figure out the quarterback position, whether it is with the draft right away with that third pick. If they don't get the quarterback they want, do they trade back? Do they go for a veteran, a guy who can come in and play at a high level right away? And so with that, do you go get a receiver? Do you go get another skill guy where you give him more weapons for him to be successful?
Yeah. Their former guy, Daniel Jones. Poor guy has sat on the sidelines. I was so shocked the Vikings got beat the way they did, but, him sitting on the sidelines, I'm sure that was kind of a crazy moment for him too. But what do you think when it comes to Daniel? Do you think there's still time for him to have a successful career in the NFL? And what do you think that path looks like for him in making that happen?
No, there's 100% time for him to be successful, and I think he will be. And Daniel's a guy who works extremely hard. He's going to be committed. It's just about getting in the right place and the right system, and and where you can get the most out of his talent. And is that Minnesota? I mean, there's obviously a lot of big decisions they have to make right now with Sam Darnold and the season he had, what they're going to do there, what they feel about JJ McCarthy and missing his rookie year with injuries. So they got to figure that out. But you've seen, obviously, with Sam Darnold, a great example of a guy that was drafted, came in, didn't have, early success, but he got in the right systems. He learned. He got better each year, and when he got his opportunity, he took advantage of it. Had a great season with the Vikings this year, and you see it with Baker Mayfield. You see it. That's not that is a common story that maybe, hey, just the place you are, the circumstances of what was going on just wasn't the right fit, and it's just about getting in that spot where you're comfortable, and the coaches know how to call plays that fit your style, and I think Daniel can, he's going to do everything possible to learn that, and he's got a lot of great football ahead of him.
Right. I sure hope so for him. But even like you just mentioned, the right place can help you shine. And Saquon Barkley, I mean, this dude popped off this season, this postseason. What's it feel like being someone who's played with him before, seeing him shine like this, especially, I mean, unfortunately in Philly for you, but, not that that matters for you anymore necessarily, but how does that make you feel seeing him shine in Philly?
It's been great. Just as a friend, as a former teammate, you root for guys to be successful and to have success no matter where they're playing, and have congratulated him many times this season on some of the accomplishments, and I had a chance to break the rushing record, but he did the right decision based on what was best for the team and sitting out that last game of the regular season, so he could be fresh in the playoffs. And right now, it looks like that was probably the right decision after he rushed for 200 yards in a divisional game in the playoffs. But he's obviously unbelievable talent, great work ethic, just a great person, and happy for him. It was a pleasure to play with him for a couple years, and you saw the ability, you saw the talent, and he's obviously still has it, and he has the ability to break off that big play at any moment, and you don't know when it's going to happen. So excited for Saquon. Wish him all the success. Not great for the Giants fans when you have Washington, Philadelphia, and the NFC Championship. That's a tough one to root for one of the teams, but easy to root for Saquon just because of the person that he is.
Your new pal, Bill Belichick, is embarking on this new journey as a head coach again. What did you learn about him after having him on the Manning cast this year quite a few times? And how do you think he's going to do coaching-wise at the collegiate level?
Yeah, I know this about Bill, and he is passionate about coaching, about learning schemes, learning players, knowing how to stop offenses, of seeing defenses that aren't sound, and he's going to have a group that is playing sound defense, and you see it just as we're watching film in between TV timeouts. He's saying, "Hey, let's go back and watch this," and each individual player, he's telling them, telling us what they did wrong, why this isn't good, what the coordinator was probably wanted, and what the results were. So you just see a guy that has so much knowledge about the game of football, and so I think he'll bring that knowledge to this. He'll have teams prepared for every situation, every circumstance of games, and so you just see that it's still in there. The passion is there, and as a coach, as a player and as a friend, I love to see that. I think he'll have great success at North Carolina coaching up these college kids.
Hey, sports fans, if you want to see more conversations with athletes and stars, check out these videos right here and be sure to subscribe for more from USA Today Sports.